Hey everybody, what is going on? Serial Overdrive here, and today I'm playing Entropia Universe. What we're going to be doing today is we are going to be talking about the most expensive virtual item ever sold. Not just in Entropia Universe, but pretty much in the whole world. This is the item that started it off and probably one of the most expensive virtual items ever sold. And for those of you guys who are familiar with this game and with Entropia Universe and all the headlines it makes, that is Club Neverdie, otherwise known as Asteroid FOMA. It's where I'm at right now. So what this is a virtual asteroid, and back in the day it was a virtual club that's on an asteroid. You can fly up here. You've got shops, apartments, and most importantly, you've got land areas. So for those guys who don't know anything about Entropia Universe is a real cash economy MMORPG. What that means is every shot that I fire, every piece of armor that I wear, everything in this game has a real cash value. So the armor I'm wearing right here is valued probably around maybe 50 to 100 USD. This number down here, that thing called the PED card, this value right here is about 25 USD. The gun I'm holding, that's probably worth, I don't know what it's worth, maybe 10 bucks. But yeah, everything in this game has a real world value. And what that means is that this asteroid also has a real world value. Initially, back in the day, back in I think like 2004, 06, 07, sometime around then, this was one of the biggest items ever to sell in the virtual world. It was one of the biggest virtual items to ever sell, excluding, websites and stuff like that. So here's what happened. This guy called Neverdie, this gamer, he wanted to buy this virtual asteroid. On auction in Entropia Universe, this asteroid was listed with a buyout price, I believe, of 100,000 USD. With a hurricane bearing down on this avatar, this player known as Neverdie, he had no choice but to make one last bid and hope it would not be beaten because his power was about to go out, or to pull the trigger and make a massive $100,000 purchase of a virtual asteroid, a purchase that many people would probably claim is insane. Well, if you can guess, just based on the fact that I'm telling the story, he pulled the trigger and he made that purchase. He bought this asteroid, this virtual piece of land that he can't put things on or do any. Ooh, got a claim right there. Nice. He just bought this virtual piece of land for $100,000. This is it, right? You've got a few little areas. You've got one main area and a racetrack. That's it. He pulled the trigger and bought that for 100,000 USD. Now, a lot of people right here are rolling their eyes. They're saying, man, this guy's crazy. This is ridiculous. Why would he waste his money like that? And the truth is, he didn't waste his money at all. So what he got when he made this purchase, he got a land area, these things. We'll go into them more later. He got some apartments and he got some shops. He was able to sell the apartments and shops right off the bat for a decent amount. That probably allowed him to recoup 25 to 50% of what he'd spent on this virtual land area. So now everybody's probably laughing, thinking, well, this dude lost $75,000, 50 to $75,000, which is a lot of money. But he did not. You see, these land areas have this great little thing called a tax on them. So here you can see this land area I'm at right now has a 5% mining tax, 5.5% mining tax, and a 0% hunting tax. The reason it has a 0% hunting tax is because there's nothing to hunt on this land area. And the reason there's nothing to hunt is because this asteroid in the game Entropia Universe, where everything has real cash values, is known for one thing. It's known for having a place where massive amounts of resources can drop. So this amount that I got right here, this 5.15 PEDs, that's a very low amount. That's very unlikely. Usually when people drop here on Club Neverdie, if they find a hit, it's going to be worth a lot of money. $5 is not unheard of, and some of these claims have been upwards of $1,000. That's right, people are coming up here, they're dropping these things called probes. They're spending a lot of money to drop those probes, and if they get lucky and they know what they're doing, they can get over 1,000 USD back in one hit. That's crazy, right? In fact, if you look at the Hall of Fame for Entropia Universe, you can see the top mining claims. Let's pull that up right now. Oh, it's lagging. This game's lagging a little bit. You can see the top mining claims right here for the day: 4,279 PEDs, which means 429 PEDs, or 429 USD was the top claim for just today. But if you go to all time, you can see here someone mined something worth 41,000 USD. 41,000 USD. You can go and buy a used Tesla for that amount, which, it doesn't sound that great, but that's a good car, right? Yeah, it's a crazy amount of money that you can win just by going up to this asteroid and playing. And this asteroid, what it does is basically it amplifies mining claims. So when you find something, it's worth more. Anyways, that was one brilliant piece of the puzzle that was Club Neverdie. So players back in the day, before there were any other planets or anything else in Entropia Universe, they had one option if they wanted to go big. They come to Club Neverdie, meaning that Club Neverdie made a ton of money just bringing in the dollars, right? Because people were coming up here to mine big, to see what they could find, and people who really knew what they were doing, they were coming up here to make money. And when it comes down to that, it's like, why wouldn't you mind the tax? If you're going to make money, why wouldn't you mind the tax? And there's one other thing that this place has. This place has some very unique mobs. So mobs in Entropia Universe are animals. And in Club Neverdie, there's some very, very, very unique animals. These aren't it. Actually, these are it. Sorry. These aren't it. It's these guys, right? So let's take this one out. Let's see what it is to loot. So I've got my expensive armor on. I lost some health there because I fell. So I probably am gonna die. This probably isn't gonna be my most successful take here, but yeah, it has some very unique mobs. So you get two things here, right? You come to this asteroid, you come to this virtual nightclub, and you find some virtual mining resources that you can sell for real world dollars, and you can find some very rare, very unique virtual mobs. And each mob or each animal here in Entropia Universe drops a different set of things. So what happens is people who want certain pieces of armor, certain guns, they want to loot certain high value items, they have to come to Club Neverdie to either hunt these guys, which are unique to Club Neverdie, or another mob called Despelators or something like that, which are also unique to Club Neverdie. So right off the bat, you have a huge draw. Anybody who's into Entropia Universe, once they get good enough, this is where they want to come. They want to come to Club Neverdie. They want to make the big bucks, and they want to get the big loots. So let's actually just scroll down here. I'm sure we're going to be able to come up with at least one mob here. This is an all-time high list. Okay, we're going to probably be able to come up with at least one all-time high that came from a unique Club Neverdie mob. Let's see if I can do it here. It'd be nice if I could hit that, but I know that's not going to happen. So I'm sure it's going to be somewhere up here. This one, here you go. Despleater. There's a $10,000 Despleater claim, or Despelator, however you want to say that. But there's a 10,000 USD claim, a 10,000 USD mob, a 10,000 USD loot, which probably came with items, and those items are probably worth even more. So when all's said and done, if you get the right hit, the top person to come up here and get that hit made 10,000, probably 20,000 USD off that one loot. If you think, CSGO has some crazy stuff in it too, right? Like those skins and all that. But this is the same thing. These are crazy amounts of money that we're talking about. This is not a life-changing amount of money, but it's an amount of money that's going to make you smile for a whole month, right? Like, you're going to be pretty happy with it. You can't complain. So yeah, people were coming up here because there's unique mobs, looting unique things that they can sell for high profit, right? And when you come to one of these places, look at this right here. 4.49% hunting tax, 4.99% mining tax. That means that if you come up to Club Neverdie, as it was known at the time, and you go ahead and you decide you're gonna try and loot this, right? Let's say you do hit that 10,000 USD claim. Well, the owner of that land area, the owner of Club Neverdie, they get a piece of it, and they get a pretty big piece at that. They get 5% of that, right? And, that's $500 off of one claim. And now if you've got hundreds of people coming up every day, or maybe even you got 10 guys coming up every day, and they're getting these big claims, what happens then? over time, you're going to make your money back. And in fact, Neverdie, the guy who originally bought this asteroid, he did make his money back. So when people sit here and they laugh and they say, oh, that guy, because this is what happened back in the day. People sat there and they laughed and they said, oh, this guy's just wasting his money. He spent $100,000 on a virtual property when he could have bought a mortgage. Well, when all was said and done, Neverdie walked away from this deal a millionaire in less than 10 years. So off his purchase of Club Neverdie, he probably made over $1 million. And he didn't walk away from Entropia Universe with that money. He stayed. He now owns a planet in Entropia Universe. But that's not where the story of Club Neverdie ends, or it sort of is. So it went from Club Neverdie and became Asteroid FOMA when it was purchased. These land areas were sold out, people bought them, and overall the total sale price of that was about 600,000 USD. Okay, so now we're going a little bit closer to modern day, right? It's a little bit earlier on, and now we've got another huge price tag on this stuff. That's right, 600,000 USD. So this place that I'm playing on right now is worth over 600,000 USD. And the craziest thing about all of this is that value kept going up. This asteroid right now, all said and done, is probably worth roughly, or at least, $1 million. So right now I'm playing on a $1 million asteroid in the game Entropia Universe. Originally it started out as a $100,000 nightclub in virtual space, and now it's a $100,000 asteroid in virtual space. And that's sort of the story of Club Neverdie, and that's why it is worth what it's worth, right? It's not worth this because it's some place that you can come and play music. It's not an actual nightclub. They're not making money off drinks or anything like that. But what they are making money off of is me and every other player of this game. When they click a button, make a drop, and go for some loot, they get a percent of that cut, and that percent is what makes that purchase worth it. And for all you people out there saying you'd never do it, that you wouldn't do it, you're being a little silly. I can understand if you wouldn't buy this now. You can say it's overvalued now, but in the past, it definitely wasn't overvalued, because every time someone hits a claim like this, the owner of this land area, the owner of this asteroid, gets money. This claim right here, they just got 5% of it. So if I get 50 PEDs, they get 2.5. And that's not a bad deal. That's a really good deal, and that's a pretty good return. And players keep coming here because there's unique loot, there's big loot, and there's really cool things happening here. So that's Club Neverdie, I guess. And that's why, that's why players come here, and that's why it's worth the amount that it's worth. I know whoops, I keep dropping these. That's not what I mean to do. The last video I did, a lot of people were commenting on it. They were saying, oh, this is ridiculous. Who would spend so much money? And they were going on and on and on about how this was such a crazy idea. And I realized I didn't explain it correctly. I didn't explain that this is the top. Probably the top, to be honest. This is probably the most expensive virtual piece of this virtual thing in the world, okay? This is something that you can't do anything with. If I own Club Neverdie, I can't come in and code my own mobs. I can't even upload my own graphics. These are made by the company, right? This is made by MindArt. This is a part of the game. And then what happens... Oh, we're getting some more lag there. What happens is I just have to deal with that. I can change little variables. I can change how many of these mobs spawn and tweaks and things, but it's all within the realm of the game. There's no coding done by the owner of Club Neverdie. There's no coding done by whoever runs this, right? I think that's what makes it unique, right? Because Google.com, that is a virtual good, but that's a virtual good that you can program. You can make it your own. This will never be your own. This is something owned by another company that you paid money just to get a percent revenue of. Sort of like stock. And that's why I think it does hold the title of the most expensive virtual asset, because there's a lot of virtual assets out there, right? Like you can, even in Entropia Universe, if we pull this out, okay, we go into Calypso, there's a deal to buy this place for 6 million USD. And over here, where is it? Here, I think this is Rocktropia. Wherever Rocktropia is. Here we go, Rocktropia. How could I miss that? This is Rocktropia, this planet. There's over 6 million USD invested. I think it's 3 million USD invested in that planet. But that planet, whoever owns that planet can push updates. They can push their own graphics. They can push their own code. Whoever owns this asteroid doesn't. It's just a virtual good. It's a virtual thing that you own, and the developers get to do what they want with the assets. So it really is a virtual good, just like a skin in CSGO, or a skin in Fortnite, or an item in Second Life, or anything like that. It's just another virtual good, and it's probably the most expensive virtual good in the world. And I think that's pretty crazy, and I think that's something that a lot of people should know about, because it's interesting to hear about, and it's interesting to know why it is worth that. It's not because it looks pretty, it's not because the graphics are great, because let's face it, they aren't. It's because you can make money back from this, because there's players like me out here in this world who don't spend that much. We spend, a couple dollars a day, maybe $5 a month to play this crazy game. And because we're spending that money, it means that the people who own places like this can get a piece of that money, and that means that it's worth it for them to buy these big ticket, high expense items. And that's Club Neverdie. That's the most expensive place in the world, or not expensive place in the world, Jesus Christ. No, that's the most expensive place in Entropia Universe, and probably the most expensive virtual item in the world. Because in reality, if you own all this, the only thing that you have to show for it is a virtual piece of paper called a deed in a virtual world called Entropia. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got questions, comments, if you want to talk about how crazy it is that there's something worth over $1 million that is literally just a couple pixels, and then the ownership of a planet that you have an asteroid, that you have no control over, feel free to comment that down below. If you guys are interested in hearing more about Entropia Universe or learning more about this crazy, crazy virtual world, feel free to hit the subscribe button. I do a ton of videos like this, and I'll be happy to introduce you to this crazy world. And those of you guys who are regulars of the channel, thank you once again for watching. I really do appreciate it, guys. You're keeping these videos going, and you're making it exciting for me every time I put one of these out. It's a little bit of a different style that I did here, but hopefully you guys like it. Anyways, thank you for watching, and until next time, peace.